reaction, the contact process requires the use of a catalyst. And
Oh,
these
for this
all the
one, it is. Wait, we need for B because it's in the contact process or Haber process. I forgot. It's for B. We need
yeah,
silicon dioxide, I think.
we need V2O5, that's the catalyst,
Yeah, we 205.
and the temperature is around 450 centigrade.
Yeah, and
And
2 atmospheric pressure, I think.
yeah, 1, 2, 3 atmosphere or two atmospheres. And these are all the reactions. You burn sulfur, you produce sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is further reacted to form sulfur trioxide, which is then dissolved in concentrated sulfuric acid to form oleum, in which you add water and you get 2 moles of
Yeah.
sulfuric acid.
Mhm.
So what are the products when limestone is heated strongly? Calcium carbonate.
Yeah, we need.
What
Mm,
what would happen to it?
it will break down into calcium, carbon dioxide plus calcium oxide.
Yeah. So it's this.
Yeah, C.
Next one, the structure of this is NS-W.
Mm.
What's
So
the name of
that's.
what's the name?
Okay, wait. It is gonna be methyl ethanoate.
Yeah, it's this part is methyl and the other part is ethanoate. So
Yeah.
so what are which one what is the alcohol which
It's
is
ethanoic acid plus methanol.
yeah, so it's methanol plus ethanoic acid.
Yeah.
Now ethene reacts with substance X to form ethanol. What is X?
X is wait, ethene reacts with substance X to form after it's gonna be steam.
Yeah. I mean you got a double bond in ethene and water gets added to it, right?
Yes.
So it ends up forming an alcohol, an addition reaction. And it's phosphoric acid catalyst and the temperature is 300 centigrade and the pressure is 60 atmospheres.
Mhm.
Alkenes can be produced by cracking large hydrocarbon molecules to form smaller hydrocarbon molecules, which equation represents the possible reactions when so this big molecule gets cracked into smaller molecules, right? So which of these equations do you think are fine? Because cracking is a random process, so you can get any number of small molecules.
Mhm.
And the small
One
molecule,
one is cracking, one is correct, and then
I mean, just make sure, do they add up to this thing?
yeah, they do. For one it does. One it does. One they add up to C14H30 and two
6H, 12H, 12 and 8, 20H, 10, 38. So H is fine. 2,
and
5,
so C is 14 also. So two is correct and one is correct. And then for 3, 12 plus 2 is 14 and then 6 plus 24.
gonna be
Yeah,
C.
C, please. So it's C because 4 is wrong.
Why is 4 wrong? So
Because when you add it up, you do 9 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 2 is 13. Oh, 4.
what about H? Is that's 6? That's 8, that's 14.
14, yeah, 14 plus
And
8
so that's not 38.
is,
So that's
yeah,
why
that's not, yeah, that's more.
I said 38. The structure of some hydrocarbons are shown. Which statement about hydrocarbons is correct? Do 1 and 2 have a different general formula?
No,
No, they're both alkanes, so they have the same. They're all alkanes.
yeah,
They all have the same general formula.
yeah, and then 1 and 4 are different homologous series. No, 2 and 3 are structural isomers.
In 3, are the isomers?
No,
The 2 and 3 are exactly the same molecule.
yeah.
It's just a bent version of 2. In 2,
Mm-hmm.
so you just twisted it around. So They're exactly the same structure. Remember this, that
Yeah.
you can't just bend a molecule and say that it's nice, but these are exactly the same. 3 and 4 have the same empirical formula. Is that true?
Yeah.
I mean, they do. So this is C4H10, and I think
Yes.
this is also C4H10. So the
Mhm.
simplified version will also be exactly the same.
Got it.
Ethane reacts with chlorine in the presence of ultraviolet light. Which substances are produced in the reaction? This is a substitution
It's
reaction.
not one isn't. H2 isn't produced. And then C2, 4 is produced. And so is 2, and then so is 3.
Yeah, because any of the H's could get substituted, right?
Here's 3 and 4. So C.
Yeah, and when those H's get removed and they get replaced by Cl, the H goes and forms HCl, right? So the one is never produced.
Yeah.
And the last one, polymer, which is sterilene? Or which one has the same linkages as sterilene? What
I
type of
don't know.
what type of a polymer is sterilene?
Mm.
And
It is I don't know for Charlene.
it's a condensation polymer. Where's the O levels? Yeah, I guess where was the notes? These ones? Okay, so remember your condensation polymers.
Yeah.
Polyesters, the example is sterilene and fat molecules, right? So they're formed from an alcohol and a carboxylic acid. They've got ester links, right?
Mhm.
So which one out of these have ester links? That's this one, right? It's a serial bond O and O, right? I mean, if you repeat it, it's going to be the same thing.
Mhm.
So this one has ester links. So this is what terylene looks like. This is a polyamide. Like if you got polyamides, polyamides are formed from amides and carboxylic acids. The HOH get removed, and you got serial bond O and NH. That's your amide linkage. So nylon and Kevlar are polyamides. Then you've got proteins. Proteins are made from just amino acids. Amino acids look like this. They've got carboxylic acid and an amine. So the same linkages get formed, which are amide linkages or peptide. And then you've got a starch molecule as well. So, yes. So we're done with this paper,
Yes.
and we can start with 0620 West 23. Let's do the winter 23 paper. QP and 23. So this one. Now this one is that this is winter 23 question paper 23 and 620, yeah. So the first question, a sample of gas occupies 340 cm3 at room temperature and pressure. The temperature and pressure are both increased, but the volume occupied by the gas remains 340 cm3. So he's increasing temperature, he's increasing pressure, and the volume remains same. Which row describes what happens to the particle speed and the average distance between the particle and the gas when the temperature and pressure are both increased? When you increase temperature, what happens to the particle speed?
It increases.
And what happens to the average distance between particles?
In increases.
See, the volume is not changing. So if the volume is not changing, what happens to the average distance?
This.
Unchanged, right?
Yes.
Because if they're going to move further apart, the volume should increase. And so which statement about the rate of diffusion of the gases ammonia, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen and oxygen are correct?
Got it.
Give you the MR values. Carbon monoxide is 28, 12 plus 16, 28.
Yes.
O2 is 32.
Mm-hmm. Mm, one is correct, and then three. Yeah, one and three, so B. B.
One is correct, and oxygen will diffuse slows because it's an element, whereas the others are compounds. So no, that's not the
That's wrong. So one and three, which is B.
okay, it's B. Element X is shown. So which element is it? Like what's the proton number of this element?
The proto 5
And what's the nuclear number?
nucleon
But
number
anyways,
is 11. Nucleon
we
number is
don't. But it doesn't really matter because elements are identified because of their proton numbers, right?
yeah.
So the element with 5 protons, that's boron.
Is it boron? A. Yeah.
Which statement explains why isotopes of an element have the same chemical reactions? Why do they have the same chemical reactions?
B. No, C. It's because they have the same number of outer shell electrons.
Yeah, because they have
Yes.
the same electronic configuration basically. Magnesium reacts with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. What happens to magnesium atoms and oxygen atoms during this reaction? So what do you think? What happens?
Can gain 2 electrons. Magnesium will lose while oxygen will gain the 2 electrons. So D.
So D. This is +2. That's -2, right?
Yeah.
Which row about the properties of both diamond and silicon 4 oxide are correct?
They don't conduct electricity, so C or D. And then type is, so this one is giant covalent, so it's gonna be C.
Next, when you got this reaction, you have to write the states.
Okay.
What's the state for HCl?
HCl is aqueous.
Yeah, MgCl2.
Oh, MgCl2 is aqueous.
Yeah, so that's going to give you A, right?
Yeah.
Chlorides are all soluble except for silver and lead. And water is always a liquid.
Mm.
Which substance is a mixture?
Air, I think.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
air is a mixture. It's got
yeah, air.
21% oxygen and 78% is nitrogen.
Nitrogen.
And then there's the third most abundant, the rest of the 1%. The third one is argon, and the fourth one is then carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got number of moles of atoms X, Y, and Z in a compound are shown.
Yeah.
So he's asking, so he's given you the empirical formula basically. He says that X is 0.6, Y
Mm-hmm.
is 1.2, and Z is 0. So what's the whole number ratio? I mean, this is how you find
Okay,
it. Huh?
first, we find what to multiply it with to give us a whole number,
Yeah, or
which we
divide.
can
You
do.
can divide by something, and it will also give you a whole.
Yeah, divide by the low.
Divide by the smallest, right?
Yes,
So this is going to be 2, 4.
X, so D.
H2Y4C, right?
Yeah, so to D.
1 mole of silver nitrate contains this many ions. How many ions are there in 0.25 moles of iron 3 oxide? I mean, just focus on this. How many ions are there in this?
So we multiply it.
Can you tell me how many ions are in Fe2O3?
Fe2O3. There's 1 mole.
There are 5 ions
Oh, 5 ions. Whoops, yeah.
because there are 2 Fe ions and there are 3 oxide ions, right?
Yeah.
It's 1 ratio 5, right? So 1 has 5 ions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 0.25 moles,
Mm-hmm.
so how many ions would you have?
It's 3. The answer is 3 into 10 to the power 23. Because Mr. Pat, I multiplied 0.25 mole with 1.2 into 10 to the power 24, and I got 3.0 into 10 to the power 23.
Why did you use this?
I don't know. I thought that's how we do it.
Did you get the point? Like how many? Can you find first thing? Just keep it simple. Did you understand this? Like Fe2O3 has how many ions? 5.
Yeah, I understood this.
So 1 has 5 ions. So if you have 0.25 moles, how many ions in terms of moles would you have? What's 0.25 multiplied by 5? That's 1.25.
That's 1.25, yeah.
So that means you got 1.25 moles ions, right?
Yeah.
Now convert that to number of particles. How do you convert moles to number of particles? You multiply it by 6.02 times 10 power 23.
Yeah.
So multiply this by 6.02.
That is 7.5 into 10 to the power 23, so C.
So see, I mean, this information was like irrelevant.
Yeah.
As a concentration of magnesium bromide is electrolyzed using magnesium bromide is being electrolyzed. You have to tell the equations. And is it concentrated? It is concentrated. So you've got magnesium and you're going to have its aqueous, so H plus 1 and OH minus 1. So who's going to gain electrons at cathode?
At cathode is gonna gain electron hydrogen.
So that's it, right? And whenever it's
Yes,
concentrated, it's Br that's going to lose electrons. So it's going to be A.
yeah.
Aqueous copper sulfate is electrolyzed using carbon electrodes, which are inert electrodes. So again, same thing. What's going to happen? So you got copper ions, and you've got sulfate ions, and you've got H plus, and you've got OH minus, right? So who's going to gain electrons?
Who's gonna gain electrons is copper.
Copper is lower down, so copper is the one that's
Yeah.
going to. And who's going to lose electrons from the other side?
SO2O4.
It's OH.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, it's always OH minus one. The halides will only discharge when they're concentrated. The rest of the ions, they never get discharged, right? So
Yes.
what's the equation for OH losing electrons? That's 2H2O plus.
Yeah. Plus O2.
So this one, right? No.
Mm-hmm.
None of these are correct
Yeah, and then D is correct.
because the copper sulfate changes to sulfuric acid. So the blue solution will fade, right? The copper goes and the OH goes, right? That's the next one. When water is added to this thing, water is being added. It's a reversible reaction. And he says that this is formed and energy is given out. So that means forming this is what exothermic, right? When this,
Yes.
so that means the reverse is what? Endothermic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So which reaction pathway diagram shows the formation of anhydrous iron chloride in the reverse
It's
reaction?
either A or B because it cannot be C or D.
But it's going to be endothermic, right?
Yeah, so it's A or B.
A or B, right? And it's going to be
Yeah.
supposed to be
And
B
it will be B because, yeah, it's gonna be B.
because he's talking about anhydrous iron chloride. So that's without water. This is with water. So
Yeah.
he's talking about the reverse reaction, right? And the reverse is endothermic. You have to find out the energy change for this reaction. I mean, break the bonds and form the bonds. What's the formula? It's
So we do
tell me how many to break all the bonds, form all the bonds. How many CH bonds will you break?
oh, wait, I'm calculating that one.
So 4 CH, 1 HH, and bond formation is exothermic. So you're gonna form one CC bond, and you're gonna form 6 CH bonds, right?
There's 2,686 for the bond breaking, like for that one. And then bond form, I'm gonna calculate it.
Keep going. Did you find this?
Yeah, I got the answer as negative 124.
Negative 124. Yeah, that must be fine. Next one, statement about four different acids are listed. So 0.01 mole per dm cube solution of hydrochloric acid has a pH of 2. 0.01 mole per dm cube solution of ethanoic acid has a pH of 3.4. Hydrobromic acid is a strong acid. Ethanoic acid is a slightly stronger acid than trimethyl ethanoic acid. What are the pH values of HBr and trimethyl ethanoic acid? So for HBr, what will you
I think for HBr it's gonna be low. It's gonna be maybe 2. Cause it's like it's probably 2 because it's like it has hydrogen. And then for Germans, it's gonna be higher. So 3.5.
He says that it's etheric acid is slightly stronger. So this is a weaker acid, right?
Okay, so that means this one is 3.3.
3.5.
No, 3.5, sorry, yeah,
I mean, it is
3.5.
weaker, right? Weaker means the
Yeah,
pH will be closer to 7, right?
yeah.
So that's B. Cobalt 2 chloride turns from blue to pink when water is added. How is this reaction reversed?
For this one, you heat it
Yeah, you add water to it,
and then heat
it
it.
turns hydrated. You want to reverse this, you want to get rid of water, so the water has to evaporate, so you would have to heat it. Now, the reaction between this is the Haber process, which change, and it's exothermic. The forward is he's already told you that it's exo. The reverse is there for endo. Which change to
Yeah,
the conditions would increase the yield of ammonia?
I think by increasing the
Pressure.
pressure. Yeah, increasing the pressure. Right? If we increase pressure, it will increase the yield of ammonia. Mr. Fahad, is it B?
Increase the yield of ammonia.
Yeah, so increasing the pressure, because
Less gas side, which is the forward side, right? Increasing the temperature would favor the endothermic, so that would reverse the reaction. Adding a catalyst does nothing, it speeds up both reactions. Reducing the concentration of nitrogen, it will try to increase the concentration of nitrogen, so it's going to go backwards. And so now ethanol can be turned into ethanoic acid by passing it over hot copper 2 oxide. What is this type of reaction? An alcohol turning into carboxylic acid.
Mm-hmm.
Copper oxide turning to copper.
This is um red ox,
Yeah,
the gain and loss of oxygen.
because copper was +2 and now it's 0, right? So it got reduced. And in organic chemistry, you've read that alcohols get oxidized to carboxylic acid, right? Using KMNO4 or K2Cr2O7. So that is
Yeah.
Yes.
so that's a gain of oxygen. So that's oxidation. This reaction, what term describes what happens to silicon 4 oxide?
It will get over here. It's gonna be reduced.
You're losing oxygen, it's getting
Yeah,
reduced. Which statement about aqueous weak acids is correct?
about this one. Oh, A and B are wrong, so D. It's D, Mr. Fahad.
Um, yeah, I mean that's metal plus acid salt plus H2, so H2 bubbles are seen. Um, never turns blue, does not dissociate fully. They're not always, I mean, weak acid is just a weak acid. It's got nothing to do whether it's dilute or concentrated. Which oxides are basic? Which of these oxides?
Um, all of them are basic.
Yeah, they're all metal oxides, and they're all basic.
Mhm.
Zinc oxide is amphoteric. Zinc oxide is added to HCl. It's also added to NOH. Since it's amphoteric, it should react, I guess. So what are the observations made?
Okay, wait. A and B is from one of them, and then it is A.
I think it's going to be A, right?
Yeah.
Zinc oxide will dissolve in both. Which row and zinc compounds are not really insoluble, so and there's not going to be any fizzing because metal oxide is going to form salt and water, right?
Yes.
Which row shows properties of an element that is in the same group as lithium? Lithium is in group one, so what are the properties of a group one metal?
It has um it will be high electrical conductivity, and then the density is gonna be the lowest. Wait, it's gonna be A.
It's going to be A. The element in group 7 includes chlorine, bromine, iodine. Iodine is more dense than chlorine. Is that true?
Yeah.
Iodine is a solid, chlorine is a gas. Iodine displaces chlorine from a solution containing. So is that true? Iodine is it iodine going to displace chlorine?
No, it's not.
Iodine is less reactive. Bromine is a diatomic nonmetal.
Yeah.
Chlorine gas is darker in color.
No, it's lighter, so it's B.
So 1 and 3. 25. Cobalt is a transition. What is the property of transition?
They have oxidation state, and they're colorful. They make colorful compounds, and they're catalysts and stuff.
They've got high
And they have
melting
high
points, high
density and
density.
high melting point. Yeah.
They got catalysts and they have variable oxidation states. Which metal has variable oxidation numbers out of these four?
Copper.
Yeah, that's copper itself. Which statement would alloys is correct?
Right. No, I guess. C.
So that's alloys.
Because A is wrong, because they're not pure metals. They're a mixture.
Uh, a metal M is between solid is between sodium and magnesium in the reactivity series, right?
Yeah.
Okay, NaCa, Mg. So I guess it's Ca, right?
Mhm.
Which reactions occur with M and its oxide? Will M react with steam?
Yeah.
It will. Can be extracted reacting it with carbon
No.
because carbon is over here. So carbon will not be able to. It will not be able to reduce. So
Yeah.
it's carbon is less reactive. So no. So C. The diagram shows. So this is rusting. In which ones would the nail rust?
Oh, this one is easy. It would be tap water, yes. Salt water, yes. And three, no, because it has oil. So B.
So that's B. Which equation represents the reaction that takes place when iron is extracted from its ore in the blast furnace? So which one is a blast furnace? Like what is the reaction where when iron gets extracted?
It's gonna be. Wait, it's it's gonna be calcium oxide plus silicon oxide. Is it A?
The A looks fine
Yeah, it looks like it's A.
because that's slag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Silicon sand gets removed in this way. The other one, this is obviously not happening. This reaction happens, but it happens in the reverse, not in the forward direction. When the coke reacts and forms carbon monoxide, right?
Yeah.
And Fe2O3 is never formed. Just the last one. Some uses of water are listed. For which use is it necessary to chlorinate the water?
For drinking, yes. And then in chemical reactions, no. And then in swimming pools, yes. And then in washing, no. So 1 and 3, that is B.
So I think it's we'll continue tomorrow then. Okay.
Okay, Allah Hafiz.
Okay.